never about the money. So when people bring up, no, not you per se, but when people bring up,
Oh no,
man,
it
how
would be
you
about the money for me. I would affect it. I'll put my hands up. I would affect it for the money, Shadi. But
yeah, but I wouldn't.
So, have you got any questions before we begin?
Should we be scared?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I've got some questions to ask Charlie, but I'm always going to keep it professional.
I'm,
Got it.
I'm here for it. Because I heard they was making me look like a mute on the show,
Oh.
so I gotta let my personality shine.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show. Hello if you're new. So today I have with me special guests Charlie and Alana from Love Island USA Season 3, the finalists. Yeah, obviously we only get to see an hour every day. So hopefully we get to see things from your point of view, get your perspective on things. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously you both came in late in the game. Obviously, Charlie, how did you feel about coming in at Casa Amor? Because that's a big gamble.
Yeah. Coming in at Casa Amor, I was a little worried coming into it. Um, but at the same time, I just wanted to go in and just be myself. And my main thing was just going in there and just opening up and just let myself be vulnerable. You know, because I could be kind of reserved sometimes with people, especially when I just meet them. But I just wanted to go in there and just kind of like let it all out and just put my best foot forward and take a chance. And hopefully that whatever I put out there would be receptive well by Cashay, obviously at the time. Um, yeah, and I mean, and she did. She took it very well, and we hit off from the jump. So
And obviously, you, Alana, you came in even later than Charlie. How did you feel about coming in at the point that you did?
Truthfully, I was a little bummed. I wanted to go on sooner just because I felt like, everyone was so together and the relationships were so solid for the most part. So, I was just like, oh man, like I might not get a chance to like really meet anyone. And I mean, obviously I did, but like initially I had, I was like, well, if I don't stay long, I don't. But here I am, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I did make it through, and yeah, it was great.
Did you wish you came in a bit earlier, Charlie?
um, yes, just because of the timing of everything, but um, I felt like, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm full of myself, but like I'm confident. So I felt like whenever I came in, I felt like I would have had enough time to really connect with somebody, unless I came in when Andre and Casey did. Now they kind of came in
Yeah, they came in really
and
late.
that was too late.
Yeah.
But anything past Casa Amor, it would have been you really were because you really was chancing it because you really seen just how tight they really were.
And then obviously, we're getting on to the topic of cash now. Um, Obviously, from our point of view, it seemed like everything was going really well until you kind of got back. And I feel like what was confusing for a lot of us, Charlie, was because from Casa Amor, it seemed like, from our point of view, you had made it seem like you were okay with her still having feelings for
Yeah,
Cinco, and then
yeah.
coming in, it kind of, for us, it seemed like it switched pretty much within 24 hours.
Yeah.
How did it get from, okay, you know, may the best man win, to I'm not really feeling it anymore?
Well, just because when you going into the villa, I was, me and Caswell had a conversation, and she told me that she still had to have the conversation with Cinco. But when you're in there, and then everybody is so tight, and I'm the new guy in the villa, all Cinco is obviously close with all the other guys, and everybody wanted them together, and I could feel that. You know what I mean? You could feel the energy, and so just getting back into that, and then obviously seeing them talk, seeing them, him pulling her, her pulling him. Um, Again, all of that is it's not a good feeling. Um, and Cass was very open and transparent whenever they would have a conversation. But then at the same time, Cinco would pull me and talk to me too and be like, how he was feeling, and like all was good between me and Cinco. Like, we cool, have no issues. But he did mention like Cass was telling him that he wasn't trying for her. Um, Basically, he wasn't putting forth the effort to show her that he really wanted her. And obviously, like nobody wants to hear that, no matter who you are. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to hear somebody who you're interested in still, having those conversations with another potential, I won't say love interest, but something like that. And then, the night of the elimination, whenever people got sent home after the striptease, I looked over and I seen Cashay mouth that she wanted to save Cinco.
Yeah.
So kind of like the way that how I play things in my head, and a lot of times I can overthink things sometimes. Uh, when you see, I look at it as when you see you're in a relationship with somebody,
Yeah.
and you have an ex. The ex is creating problems, and so I was like, well, why would she want to keep the ex around that's creating problems in the relationships? So I felt like where my I felt like, well, were you really fully invested? Did you still want to keep him around because you still had reservations? And so um, that just kind of like what played into my psyche. I was just like, okay, I wouldn't want to keep somebody around if somebody who I'm talking to is uncomfortable with them. And it just began, and then in the villa, like you're really dealing with a lot of emotions really quickly. And yeah, it was a lot to deal with. And then Atlanta came in the picture, and it definitely didn't help the situation.
So then obviously you came in, Alana. How were you kind of feeling about approaching the situation?
It was not what I had wanted initially, truthfully. Like I said, not you, not you. Just like because he was with Cash and I saw Cash's journey, I he was off limits for me. Like I really did not gun for him, and that's why my dates were Will and Jeremy, and I was just trying to I would have preferred to go for the single guys. No one wants
Yeah.
to break up a relationship. We ended up speaking, and I was like, oh wow, like conversation flows really well, um, and then he was expressing interest in me, and so it just seemed right, and we get along well, and we've had some ups and downs, but we definitely have.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. We're trying. It's so hard when you're in a situation like that. It's something I would never do. Like you don't go for your girlfriend's guys
Yeah.
in real life. Like you're a terrible person in that case. But Cash was very sweet about it and like very understanding, and she and I are totally fine now.
So do you think because of like the kind of format of the show that kind of influenced you to take a risk? Because obviously everybody has to stay coupled.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and everything happened literally everything happened so quick.
So fast.
Yeah,
You just don't know. You don't have time to process things, and you're trying to take every single person's feelings into consideration while also trying to stay true to yourself. And there's all this influence kind of coming in, and people discussing things, and kind of like we had drama before we recoupled. Like there's a whole like blow up thing that happened between you and Cash, and it was just like I don't know. It was just like a whirlwind. Like you just don't know what the hell is going on.
Leading up to that, those previous days, it definitely was rough. Like I've never dealt with anything like that before because normally it's just one one girl that I'm dealing with. So having to choose between two amazing people, it definitely wasn't easy.
When you guys started speaking with each other, this is like kind of before you guys officially became a couple. Was there any tension in the house, even with you just kind of speaking with each other?
Yeah,
Not for me.
well, they might not have
We were
showed it.
yeah.
They might not have showed it to her, but I feel like because the girls are so tight, there. Um, it's like if they even see you pulling somebody else for a chat, like they're instantly going and run and tell whoever you're coupled up with. So I feel like that started to raise my eyebrows, and it started to cause a little bit of friction. They might not have showed it to her, but
No, it was you, Charlie.
It's definitely not me.
Going back to when you mentioned the big blow up. To us, it was like really dramatic on TV. It almost seemed like Cash was gonna collapse when you were basically saying that you're thinking about choosing Alana. To us, it seemed like you did kind of see her very upset, but we didn't really see you console her. We saw you have a chat afterwards, but we didn't see you console her. Did you?
Yeah, like we literally had a whole like session where we made up. Like she apologized. We literally walked back in the girls' dressing room,
Yeah.
and she apologized in front of everybody.
They didn't show that?
On that same night?
Yeah,
Yeah, same
Yeah,
night.
we
literally like
didn't see that.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, like we literally because after me and Cass hashed everything out and I expressed to her what my concerns were, she actually laughed it off and
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that, but we didn't
yeah,
see the
yeah,
comforting
yeah,
on that night.
we sat on the couch. We talked for a little bit. Then she walked upstairs, walked in the girls' dressing room, and basically apologized in front of everybody for for what she said and everything. So that's kind of crazy that doesn't get showed. But
After you guys had made up, I guess there was still kind of hope for people in the public, hoping you and Cash were gonna work out.
yeah, yeah.
At what point did you know you were gonna pick Alana?
Literally, it was up until the last minute whenever we had to make our decisions.
Yeah.
And I was going back and forth all day, and that's why whenever I know they showed me and Cash talking on the like up on the balcony or whatever, it looked like I wasn't there mentally because I really wasn't because I was literally trying to process everything. And it's unfortunate that we had to have that talk at that time because I didn't want to come off to her like I didn't care about what she was talking about or that I was just disinterested, but it was just the timing like was literally couldn't have been worse.
Yeah. Because it is a game show, a lot of the people looking at it from a strategy kind of thing were kind of thinking, Cash, possibly, if you'd stayed together, that was, some would say, a guaranteed 50K. Did you not ever think I could potentially be throwing 50K if I break up with Cash?
No, because for me, going into it, it wasn't about the money ever going into it. Because obviously, everyone in the Villa loved Cash, so I could only assume everyone outside of the Villa loved Cash too as well. So um, it was never about the money. So when people bring up, nah, not you per se, but when people bring
Oh
up,
no,
man,
it would
how
be
you
about the money for me. I would affect it. I put my hands up. I would affect it for the money, Shadi.
yeah, but I wouldn't. I personally, I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I faked something to get money. You know what I mean? I don't play with I couldn't play with somebody's emotions because I believe in karma, and I've been down that road. Like I've been married before, so I know just how fast karma could come back around
Yeah.
and get you. I didn't even want that on me. You know what I mean? So,
Would you still
so I could,
consider it karma though, even though it's a game show?
yeah, because everything in life comes full circle. Um, and I didn't watch last season. I watched a few episodes, but I didn't fully watch last season. But I heard about what happened with the
Yeah,
winner of
with
last
Caleb.
season.
Yeah.
And honestly, I couldn't have that on me. And Cass like was such a good person.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that to her. You know what I mean? So again, yeah, we probably could have won, but at the same time, I wouldn't have had a clear heart and a clear conscience with doing that.
Yeah.
So
Even as friends, because that could have worked too as friends.
yeah, it could have, but yeah, it could have, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time.
So then obviously you said the name and Cash was gone. Was it awkward standing up there for both of you? Was it awkward?
Yeah. I was shocked. I was honestly shocked that he chose me. I was kind of rooting for them because I just know what she went through before, and I was just like, I don't want to be the reason
Yeah.
that she would hurt. And ultimately, it obviously worked out. I mean, I think what was happening behind the scenes there was, they weren't connecting anymore
Yeah.
by that time. It was like it didn't seem there. And so, I'm grateful that he chose me, but it was it was uncomfortable, you know, because I adore her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's just like it was hard.
And then after the recoupling, was there any tension in the house?
Not for me.
Yeah, everybody. It was awkward between me and Trina and Olivia at the time, because obviously like that Cash was their girl, so it was awkward for a little while. But uh, me and Olivia, you know, we began to see eye to eye again, and she began to come around, and now we're like this again. And Trina, me and Trina, we had a lot of talks too, and um, we're great now too as well. So it took some time
Yeah.
for me and Atlanta to grow on everybody else, but I think after a while they definitely started to see how much I was opening up and that I was actually trying. Um, so they began to kind of lighten up a little bit.
After you coupled up with Alana, people were obviously calling your character into question and questioning whether you liked Cash in the first place or were just using her. What would you like to say to people who suspect that?
Um, I feel like me I'm open and honest. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and how I feel, I let it be known. It's all over my face, 99% of the time. And even like like we said earlier, if I genuinely was using Cash, then why not ride it to the end? Because like you said, everybody loved Cash. So if I really was using somebody, then why would I just stop at a recoupling? You know what I mean? So I really felt like I came there for a connection, and I came there to really get to know somebody, not for the money. So um, that's why I made the decision that I made. So I just think people shouldn't be so quick to pass judgment, because I feel like you never know. People could say what they might think you should have did, but until you're actually in that situation and actually dealing with it at that moment, you really never know how you going. Uh, so I just hate that people couldn't really see like my full personality. They kind of made me look like a mute on there, but that's unfortunate. But hey, it is what it is, and all I can do is just continue to move forward from here, and just the people who really know me, like they know how I am. They know like I would give the shirt off my back for people who I really care about, and I'm not here to hurt nobody. So.
And was there kind of any point where you guys kind of thought of public perception while you were in the coupling?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that was like, the little demon on your shoulder, kind of like, because we know that we're good people, but who knows how you're going to be portrayed. They can only show so much. We're literally being recorded 24/7 for many, and we're like, it's just like, how could they possibly get every single conversation? And so yeah, it was definitely a little concerning, and I think that also maybe played into a reason I was a little hot and cold with Charlie. It was like a roller coaster in there.
Yeah. Did you think you were going to make it to the final?
No.
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
Honestly, like after I made my decision, I pretty much knew I had wrote my ticket out the show. To be honest with you.
So you weren't surprised that you came fourth?
Oh no.
No. And obviously now you guys are off the island. You have almost at freedom. What's kind of the status of your relationship? How are you taking things moving forward?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We have communication issues. We try, but we're kind of different in certain ways, and it's been a challenge for sure. But I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
I just think we are taking things slowly. Like she said, we have some communication stuff that we have to work on. But we are different, but that doesn't necessarily different doesn't necessarily mean bad. So I just think once we get that piece down and just lay all the cards on the table about how you truly feel about every situation, then I think that things would be a lot more transparent. But that's something that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Coming into the final, did you guys have your own personal predictions about who the top three would be.
While being in there, I really was convinced that Corey and Olivia were gonna win.
Yeah.
Like it was like I don't know, just their stories made, I think people loved them, and obviously Kira and Will, everyone loved them too, but like, you know, they I think it's so great that they found each other, and I just like I watched that kind of happen too toward the end, and like they really care about each other, and it's really beautiful to see. So I was pretty convinced that they were gonna win.
Yeah. I just knew. I knew Olivia and Corey was gonna win. It was pretty much wasn't a doubt in my mind. I mean, Kira and Will were up there too, but like Corey, like that's my dude. Like he's a great,
Yeah.
funny, outgoing guy, and Liv is Liv. Like she's great. So I knew that they were, and they've been there from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I knew they knew they definitely were in the running.
And then obviously on the topic of Kira and Will, I guess they were the front runners until Casa and Moore.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Will behaved that way in Casa and Moore? Because I feel like that just is haunting him.
So personally, I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, did you?
You seen it?
Well, you heard about it. You heard about what happened whilst you were there.
Yeah, I definitely heard about it.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to say anything bad. I'm just trying to think of how to phrase this properly. I don't know. It seemed, it did appear a bit that maybe she may have had stronger feelings. So there was a question in my mind, which is honestly the reason that I did choose him for a date. I hadn't seen anything after Casa Amor, so I didn't know whether they were even still together. But yeah, I had a feeling he would explore.
Yeah. And then I guess after that, even kind of after coming back, people kind of don't feel like he dealt with the situation well, which is kind of why his character just kept being called into question. Yeah. Can you speak on Will's character, because you guys were living with him?
Will's a sweetheart. I mean, he's so kind. I think he's a good person. I don't really know, like, the thing about their relationship is we're never really present for their conversations. So it's really, really hard to tell what is actually going on because they go off on their own. And then, it's just like, we're never really around for any of this. So it's hard to speak on them. Just, I don't know, for me at least, I don't really know, but I think they're both great people, truly.
Do you think they're compatible though?
You answer.
I think we all have things that we need to work on. So I definitely think they have some issues that they need to address within their own relationship. So, that remains to be seen. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the end of my questions. Thank you so much for being on my channel. I really appreciate you guys answering all my questions. And I'm wishing you both the best on your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.